The champagne bottle shattered against the wall, missing Tyler's head by inches. Sofia stood in the doorway of his apartment, her anniversary gift bag still clutched in her trembling hand, staring at the scene that would replay in her nightmares for weeks to come. Her boyfriend of 3 years was tangled in his sheets with Jessica, her best friend since college. The woman who had helped her pick out the lingerie she was currently wearing under her dress for this surprise visit. Tyler scrambled to cover himself, his face cycling through shock, guilt, and then something that made Sofia's blood run cold. Annoyance. He was annoyed that she had caught him. "Sofia, wait, this isn't what it looks like," he started, but Jessica cut him off with a laugh that sounded like breaking glass. "Wait. Oh, please, Tyler, she has eyes." Jessica pulled the sheet around herself, her expression morphing into something cruel. "Honestly, Sof, you should have seen this coming. You're always at work, always too tired, always too busy building your little career. What did you expect?" Sofia's voice came out strangled, barely recognizable. "We were supposed to go to dinner tonight. Our anniversary dinner. I left work early to surprise you." Tyler had the audacity to sigh, running his hand through his disheveled hair. "Look, maybe this is for the best. We've been growing apart anyway. You're not exactly the most exciting person to be around anymore. Jessica understands me in ways you never could." Before we continue, please click the subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment. This lets us know you're following the story. The words hit like physical blows. 3 years. 3 years of planning a future, of supporting him through his failed business ventures, of believing in them. And he was treating her like an inconvenience, an obstacle to dispose of. "How long?" Sofia heard herself ask. "Does it matter?" Tyler was already reaching for his phone, dismissive. "How long?" Jessica smirked. 6 months. Ever since your promotion party, actually. You were so busy networking, you didn't even notice when we left together. 6 months. Half a year of lies, of kissing him goodnight while he texted another woman, of trusting both of them with her secrets and fears. Sofia felt something crack inside her chest, something that might never fully heal. She turned and walked out, ignoring Tyler calling after her with half-hearted apologies that sounded more like legal disclaimers than genuine remorse. She made it to her car before the tears came, violent sobs that shook her entire body. Her phone buzzed with a text from Tyler. She didn't read it, then another, and another. Finally, she looked. The first message read, "We can still be friends." The second, "Don't be dramatic about this." The third, "You're honestly overreacting. People grow apart. It's called being an adult." Sofia threw her phone into the passenger seat and screamed until her throat was raw. The next week passed in a blur of pain and humiliation. She called in sick to work, something she had never done in her entire career. Her sister Maya showed up on day 3 with ice cream and wine, forcing her way into the apartment that still smelled like the cologne Tyler used to wear. "I'm going to kill him," Maya announced, setting the bags on the counter with more force than necessary. "Slowly, painfully, I'm thinking medieval torture devices." Sofia laughed, but it came out hollow. "Get in line." "Seriously though, Sof, you dodged a bullet. He's trash, she's trash. You deserve so much better." Maya poured 2 generous glasses of wine. "You know what you should do? Post about it. Blast him on social media. Show everyone what a cheating scumbag he is." "I'm not doing that." Sofia took a long drink. "I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of thinking he affected me that much." "But he did affect you that much. Look at you. You haven't showered in 3 days." "Thanks for that." Maya softened, sitting beside her sister on the couch. "I just hate seeing you like this. He doesn't deserve your tears. Neither does that backstabbing witch." She paused, swirling her wine. "You know what would really destroy Tyler, though?" "What?" "His father." Sofia looked up sharply. "What about his father?" "You know they hate each other, right? Like, haven't spoken in 5 years, hate each other. Tyler used to rant about him all the time, called him every name in the book." Maya leaned in conspiratorially. "Apparently the old man cut him off completely, wouldn't give him a dime for his startup ideas. Tyler's convinced his dad ruined his life." "I remember," Sofia said slowly. He said his father was a monster, that he was involved in some shady business dealings. Exactly, Marco Castellano. I looked him up once when Tyler was on one of his rants. The guy's like 52, apparently gorgeous for his age, super wealthy, owns half the real estate in the city. Maya raised an eyebrow. And supposedly has connections to some pretty dangerous people. Tyler always said he was basically a mob boss. Maya, what are you suggesting? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying, if you really wanted to get under Tyler's skin, if you really wanted him to feel even a fraction of what you're feeling right now, going after his father would be nuclear. It would destroy him. Sofia shook her head. That's insane. That's cruel and petty and insane. So is sleeping with your girlfriend's best friend for 6 months. They sat in silence for a moment, the idea hanging in the air like smoke. Sofia knew she should dismiss it immediately, knew she should be better than that. But something dark had taken root in her chest since that night, something that whispered that maybe being better wasn't worth it anymore. Maybe nice girls did finish last. Maybe it was time to be something else. I'm not doing that, Sofia said finally, but her voice lacked conviction. Maya just smiled and topped off their wine glasses. 2 days later, Sofia found herself staring at Marco Castellano's profile on various social media platforms and business websites. Maya was right. The man was striking. Silver-touched dark hair, sharp jawline, intense eyes that seemed to look through the camera lens. He looked nothing like Tyler. Where Tyler was soft and boyish, Marco was all sharp angles and controlled power. His smile in photographs was slight, knowing, like he was in on a joke no one else understood. She found articles about his businesses, charitable donations, real estate developments. Nothing concrete about mob connections, just whispers and rumors in comment sections, the kind of mythology that builds around successful men who value their privacy. Sofia closed her laptop with a snap. This was ridiculous. She was not going to seduce a 52-year-old man just to hurt her ex-boyfriend. That wasn't who she was. She was better than that. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. She opened it and felt her stomach drop. It was a photo of Tyler and Jessica at a restaurant, his arm around her, both of them laughing. Below it, a message. Thought you should know he's already posting her on social. Sorry, girl. You dodged a bullet, though. Sofia stared at the image. 1 week. It had been 1 week since he destroyed her, and he was already parading his new relationship around like she had never existed. Like 3 years meant nothing. Like she meant nothing. She opened her laptop again and started researching charity galas. The Riverside Foundation Gala was in 3 days. Marco Castellano was listed as a major donor and confirmed attendee. The ticket price made Sofia's eyes water, but she had savings. Money she had been carefully setting aside for the future she and Tyler had planned. Well, that future was dead. She might as well burn the remains. She bought the ticket, a designer dress she absolutely could not afford, and booked an appointment at the most expensive salon in the city. If she was going to do this, if she was really going to cross this line, she was going to do it right. The night of the gala, Sofia barely recognized herself in the mirror. The deep emerald dress hugged her curves perfectly, her dark hair was styled in elegant waves, and the makeup artist had transformed her tear-swollen eyes into something sultry and mysterious. She looked like someone who belonged in Marco Castellano's world. She looked dangerous. Maya Wolf whistled when she came out. Holy hell, Sof, you look like you're about to ruin someone's life. That's the plan, Sofia said, surprised by how steady her voice sounded. You sure about this? There's still time to back out, go home, eat pizza, and watch him fade into irrelevance like he deserves. Sofia picked up her clutch, checking her lipstick one final time. I'm sure. She wasn't sure. She was terrified. But she was also angrier than she had ever been in her life, and that anger needed somewhere to go. The gala was everything Sofia expected. Elegant people in elegant clothes, making elegant conversation about elegant nothing. She felt like an imposter, a girl playing dress-up in a world she didn't understand. She made her way to the bar, ordering a martini she had no intention of drinking, scanning the room for Marco. She spotted him near the silent auction tables, talking to a woman in a red dress who kept touching his arm. Even from across the room, his presence was magnetic. He carried himself with the kind of confidence that came from never having to prove anything to anyone. Sofia's nerve almost failed her. What was she doing? This man was a stranger, possibly dangerous, definitely out of her league. She should leave. She should go home and process her heartbreak like a normal person, with therapy and sad songs and too much ice cream. Then she saw Tyler's face in her mind, heard Jessica's cruel laugh, remembered the text with the restaurant photo. Sofia straightened her spine and started walking. She timed it perfectly, arriving at the bar just as Marco stepped up to refresh his drink. She pretended to stumble slightly in her heels, bumping into him just hard enough to slosh his scotch. "Oh God, I'm so sorry," she gasped, grabbing napkins. "These heels are trying to murder me." Marco steadied her with one hand, his grip firm but gentle. "No harm done." His voice was deeper than she expected, with a slight rasp that sent an unexpected shiver down her spine. "Though those do look like lethal weapons." Sofia laughed, more genuinely than she had in weeks. "Fashion is pain, or so they tell me." "They're liars," he smiled, and it transformed his entire face. "But effective ones because you're clearly suffering through it anyway." "What gave me away?" "The death grip on the bar, and the fact that you've been standing in the same spot for 10 minutes, looking like you're planning an escape route." He signaled the bartender. "First gala." "That obvious?" "Only to someone who hates these things as much as you clearly do." He accepted his new drink, then turned to face her fully. "Marco Castellano, and before you make an excuse and run away, let me guess. You're here because your company bought a table, you drew the short straw, and you're counting down the minutes until you can leave without being rude." Sofia found herself smiling despite her nerves. "Sofia Reyes, and you're partially right, I'm definitely counting minutes, but I bought my own ticket." "Brave or foolish?" "Haven't decided yet." Something flickered in Marco's eyes, amusement mixed with curiosity. "Well, Sofia Reyes, since we're both trapped here, we might as well be trapped together. Unless you prefer to continue your escape planning alone." This was it, the moment. She could make an excuse, walk away, go home and forget this insane plan. Or she could step off the cliff and see where she landed. "I could be convinced to stay," Sofia said, meeting his gaze. "If the company's good enough." Marco's smile widened. "I'll do my best not to disappoint." They talked for hours. Sofia had prepared herself for awkward small talk, for having to fake interest and laugh at unfunny jokes. She had not prepared for Marco to be genuinely interesting, intelligent, and surprisingly funny in a dry, understated way that caught her off guard. He asked about her work as a marketing director, actually listened to her answers, asked follow-up questions that showed he was paying attention. "So you create desire where there was none before," Marco mused. "You make people want things they didn't know they needed." "That's a cynical way to put it." "But accurate." Sofia considered. "Sometimes, the best campaigns don't create desire, though. They reveal it. They show people what they already wanted but couldn't articulate." "Interesting distinction." Marco leaned against the bar, studying her. "And which kind of marketer are you?" "The revealing kind. I think manipulation only works short-term. Real connection, real understanding of what people actually need, that's what builds loyalty." "Loyalty," Marco repeated softly. "Rare commodity these days." There was something in his tone, a weight that suggested personal experience. Sofia felt a twinge of guilt, remembering why she was really here. She pushed it down. "You sound like you've been disappointed," she ventured. "Haven't we all?" Marco finished his drink. "But I'm probably boring you with philosophy. Would you like to see something interesting?" He led her through the crowds to a painting in the silent auction, a stunning abstract piece in blues and golds. "My wife painted this," he said quietly. "Years ago. I donated it tonight because she would have wanted it to do some good in the world." Sofia's breath caught. "Would have." "She passed away 4 years ago. Cancer." Marco's expression was carefully neutral. But Sofia could see the grief beneath it, old and deep. She was an artist, a real one, not like these weekend hobbyists. She saw beauty in everything, even at the end when there wasn't much beauty left to find. I'm so sorry. Sofia felt her guilt intensify. This man had loved and lost, genuinely suffered, and here she was using him as a weapon. Don't be. She lived more fully in her 48 years than most people do in twice that. Marco turned to her, his eyes searching her face. You get uncomfortable when things get real. Is that a general trait or specific to me? I don't know what you mean. Yes, you do. Every time the conversation goes deeper than surface level, you tense up, like you're afraid of something. He tilted his head. What are you afraid of, Sofia? Everything, she wanted to say. I'm afraid that I'm a terrible person. I'm afraid that you're actually kind and I'm going to hurt you. I'm afraid that my ex-boyfriend broke something in me that can't be fixed. Just not used to honesty, I guess, she said instead. Most people at these things want to talk about stock portfolios and vacation homes. I'm not most people. It wasn't a boast, just a statement of fact. And neither are you. You don't belong here any more than I do. So why are you really here, Sofia? For a terrifying moment, she thought he knew. Thought he had somehow seen through her, recognized her for the fraud she was. But his expression was simply curious, open, waiting. Maybe I was looking for something different, she said, which was perhaps the first honest thing she had told him all night. And did you find it? I'm not sure yet. Marco smiled. Fair enough. He glanced at his watch, a simple but clearly expensive piece. I have to make an appearance at the donor reception, shake some hands, pretend I care about tax incentives. But I'd like to continue this conversation. Would you have dinner with me tomorrow night? Sofia's heart hammered. This was working. This was actually working. Tyler would lose his mind if he found out. The thought should have thrilled her. Instead, she felt slightly nauseous. I'd like that, she heard herself say. Marco pulled out his phone. Your number. She gave it to him, watched him type it in. His hands were steady, confident. Everything about him was steady and confident. It was intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. Until tomorrow, then, Marco said, and before she could react, he lifted her hand and kissed it, a gesture that should have been outdated and ridiculous but somehow was. Then he was gone, disappearing into the crowd of donors and socialites. Sofia stood alone, her hand still tingling where his lips had touched, wondering what the hell she had just set in motion. Maya called 30 seconds after Sofia got in her car. Well, did you find him? Did you talk to him? Give me everything. I talked to him. We talked for like 3 hours. Sofia started the car, her hands shaking slightly. Maya, he's not what I expected. Is he hot? That's your first question. It's a relevant question. Sofia pulled out of the parking lot, her mind replaying the entire evening. Yes, he's attractive, but that's not the point. He's actually interesting. He's thoughtful and funny and kind, and his wife died and he still donated her painting to charity, and I feel like the worst person in the entire world. Whoa, slow down. His wife died. 4 years ago, cancer. Maya was quiet for a moment. Okay, so he's had tragedy. That doesn't change the fact that Tyler deserves what's coming to him. But does Marco deserve to be used like this? He asked me to dinner tomorrow, Maya. He looked at me like I was someone worth knowing, not just someone worth sleeping with. And I'm lying to him with every word out of my mouth. Sofia, listen to me. You're not doing anything wrong. You're going on a date with a man who clearly likes you. If something happens, it happens. You're both adults. You're allowed to move on from Tyler, and if it happens to be with someone who will make Tyler absolutely lose his shit, that's just a bonus. That's not moving on. That's revenge. So, maybe you need revenge. Maybe you need to feel powerful again after what they did to you. There's nothing wrong with that. Sofia wanted to argue, but part of her agreed. Part of her wanted to hurt Tyler the way he had hurt her, wanted him to feel small and replaceable and worthless. I don't know if I can do this, Sofia admitted. One dinner, that's all. See how it goes. If it feels wrong, walk away. But Sof, you deserve to feel good again. You deserve to remember that you're attractive and interesting and worth someone's time. Even if this whole thing is just about getting your confidence back, that's enough. Sofia pulled into her apartment complex, exhausted. When did you become the wise sister? I've always been the wise sister. You've just been too busy being the responsible one to notice. Maya's voice softened. Get some sleep, wear something sexy tomorrow, and for God's sake, let yourself have some fun. You've earned it. After they hung up, Sofia sat in her car, staring at her phone. She opened Instagram, something she had been avoiding for days. Tyler's profile was the first to load. New photos. Him and Jessica at a beach, her in a bikini, him kissing her neck. The caption read, "Finally found my person. Sometimes the best things come from unexpected places." The comments were full of heart emojis and congratulations. No one mentioned Sofia. No one asked what happened to his girlfriend of 3 years. She had been erased, replaced, forgotten in less than 2 weeks. Sofia saved the photo, not sure why. Maybe as fuel, maybe as a reminder of why she was doing this. She went inside and picked out her outfit for tomorrow's dinner. The restaurant Marco chose was intimate and expensive, the kind of place where the menu had no prices and the waiters moved like shadows. Sofia arrived 10 minutes late on purpose, not wanting to seem too eager, and found Marco already seated, reading something on his phone with a slight frown. "Sorry I'm late," she said, sliding into her chair. "Traffic was insane." Marco looked up and smiled, the frown disappearing. "You're worth waiting for." He put his phone away, giving her his full attention. "You look beautiful. You clean up pretty well yourself." He laughed. "I'm wearing the same thing I wear to every dinner. You're just being kind." The waiter appeared, rattled off specials in French, and disappeared again. Sofia realized she hadn't understood a word. Marco must have noticed her confusion because he leaned forward, conspiratorial. "Between you and me, half of what he said was nonsense. They do it to intimidate people. Just order what sounds good. And if nothing sounds good, then we'll leave and get burgers. Life's too short for bad food and pretentious restaurants." Sofia laughed, some of her nervousness evaporating. "Is this a test, to see if I'll admit I'm out of my depth here?" "No test. I genuinely hate places like this, but they're good for first dates. Neutral territory. No one's apartment, no pressure." He paused. "Unless you prefer pressure, in which case I'm reading this completely wrong." "No pressure is good," Sofia said quickly. "I'm still figuring out where I am with everything." "Everything being?" She hesitated, then decided on a version of the truth. "I got out of a relationship recently. It ended badly. I'm probably not in the best headspace for this." Marco nodded slowly. "Appreciate the honesty. How recently are we talking?" 2 weeks ago, I caught him cheating with my best friend." The words came out harder than she intended, sharp with bitterness. "Christ, I'm sorry." Marco's sympathy seemed genuine. "That's a special kind of betrayal, the double loss." "Yeah, well, turns out I'm excellent at picking people who don't deserve my trust." Sofia took a long drink of water. "I should have told you before. You probably don't want to deal with someone's emotional baggage on a first date." "Sofia, I'm 52 years old. If I couldn't handle emotional baggage, I'd never date anyone over 30. He leaned back, studying her. "Besides, 2 weeks out of a serious relationship and you're already here, having dinner with a stranger. That takes courage or recklessness. I'm betting on courage." "You'd lose that bet." "I don't think so." Marco's expression turned serious. "Can I tell you something? And you can call me an old man giving unsolicited advice if you want." "Go ahead." "Revenge doesn't work. Whatever you're thinking about doing to hurt him back, whatever scenarios you're running through your head at 3 in the morning, they won't make you feel better. Trust me, I've been there." He paused. "After my wife died, I was angry at everyone. At the doctors who couldn't save her, at God for taking her, at her for leaving me. I wanted everyone to hurt as much as I was hurting. You know what that got me? 2 years of being completely alone, because I pushed away everyone who tried to help." Sofia felt her throat tighten. "How did you stop being angry?" "I didn't. I just learned to live with it. The anger became part of me like a scar. Still there, still tender sometimes, but not running my life anymore. He met her eyes. You'll get there too, but not if you let the need for revenge poison everything else. Sofia wanted to tell him the truth right then. Wanted to confess that she had sought him out specifically to hurt Tyler, that this entire evening was built on a lie. But the words wouldn't come. Instead, she said, what if revenge is all that's keeping me together right now? Then you're more fragile than you think. Marco's voice was gentle but firm. And you deserve better than that. Better than him, better than whatever half-life you're living in anger. The waiter returned to take their orders, giving Sofia time to collect herself. When he left, Marco changed the subject smoothly, asking about her family, her work, her dreams before the relationship had consumed them. And Sofia found herself talking, really talking, in a way she hadn't with anyone in months, maybe years. She told him about her sister Maya, about their parents who retired to Florida, about the marketing campaign she had been working on before everything fell apart. Marco listened like her words mattered, asked questions that showed he was actually processing what she said, not just waiting for his turn to talk. But you did. You hurt me in exactly the way you knew would destroy me. You made me trust again, made me hope again, and then you ripped it away. Marco's voice cracked. I have to live knowing that I'm such a fool, so desperate for connection, that I fell for the same manipulation my son tried, that I gave my heart to someone who was just using me. You're not a fool. I'm the one who's broken. I'm the one who couldn't handle rejection like an adult, so I burned down everything good in my life. At least we agree on something. Marco pulled out his phone, typed something quickly. I've called you a car. It'll be here in 5 minutes. I need you to gather your things and leave. And Sofia, I need you to never contact me again. Block my number. Delete my contact. Pretend we never met. Marco, don't do this. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. This is what you did. These are the consequences of your choices. He walked to the door, opened it, stood waiting. 5 minutes. Sofia grabbed her purse with shaking hands, looked around the penthouse at all the memories they had made. The couch where they had watched old movies and argued about plot holes. The kitchen where he had taught her to make his grandmother's pasta sauce. The balcony where he had first told her he was falling for her. It was all gone now, poisoned by what she had done. She walked to the door, stopped in front of him. For what it's worth, I meant it when I said I love you. That's the truest thing I've ever said. Marco's expression didn't change. If that's true, then you have a very twisted understanding of love, and I feel sorry for you. The elevator ride down felt like descending into hell. By the time Sofia reached the lobby, her phone was exploding with notifications. The story had gone viral. Tyler's posts were being shared everywhere, screenshot and dissected and commented on by thousands of strangers. This is sociopathic behavior. Both of them sound toxic honestly. Imagine being so petty you sleep with your ex's dad. Queen energy or red flag. That poor man, he lost his wife and now this. Tyler probably deserved it TBH. Cheaters always do. She's brave for this. Men need to learn actions have consequences. This is disgusting. She's disgusting. The internet had divided into camps, some defending her, most condemning her, all of them treating her life like entertainment. Her face was everywhere. Memes were being made. Her workplace had been identified. Her family was being contacted. Maya called 17 times before Sofia finally answered. Oh my God, are you okay? Where are you? I'm coming to get you right now. He knows. Marco knows everything. Tyler posted it all online, and now Marco hates me and the entire world is talking about what a terrible person I am. Sofia's voice was mechanical, shock settling in. That little bastard. I'm going to kill him. I'm actually going to kill him. Don't. It won't help. Nothing will help. I destroyed everything, Maya. Everything good in my life, I burned it down. Listen to me. Come to my place. Right now. We'll figure this out together. You're not alone in this. But Sofia was alone. More alone than she had ever been. Because this wasn't something Maya could fix with wine and pep talks. This was a consequence Sofia had to face by herself. When she got home, there were reporters outside her building. Actual reporters with cameras and microphones, shouting questions about her relationship with Marco, about whether she had really planned the whole thing, about how she felt now that the truth was out. She pushed through them without answering, locked herself in her apartment, and finally let herself break down completely. The next week was a nightmare. Sofia was placed on administrative leave from work, pending an investigation into whether her behavior constituted a breach of ethics. Old college classmates came out of the woodwork to share stories about her, most of them exaggerated or completely fabricated, but all of them painting her as manipulative and calculating. Her parents called, horrified and confused, asking how their daughter could have done something so cruel. And through it all, Tyler was everywhere, giving interviews, playing the victim, talking about how traumatized he was by his psychotic ex-girlfriend's actions. He never mentioned Jessica, never acknowledged his own cheating. In his version of events, he was the innocent party, and Sofia was a monster who had attacked his family. The only person who defended her was Maya, and even she was struggling. "I'm getting death threats," Maya admitted on day 5. "People found my social media, figured out I was the one who helped plan this. They're calling me evil, saying I should be arrested for conspiracy or something." "I'm so sorry. This is all my fault." "No, it's Tyler's fault. He's the one who made this public. He could have handled this privately, but instead he decided to destroy you." "I destroyed myself, Maya. I made the choices. I have to live with them." On day 8, Sofia finally worked up the courage to unblock Marco's number. She didn't call or text. She just needed to know that the option existed, that somewhere in the universe there was still a connection between them, however tenuous. 3 weeks after the story broke, the internet moved on to the next scandal. The reporters stopped camping outside her building. The death threats slowed to a trickle. Sofia was allowed to return to work, though her boss made it clear she was on thin ice. Life continued, but it felt hollow. Sofia went through the motions of existing without actually living. She avoided places she and Marco had gone together. She stopped dating, stopped going out, stopped pretending she was okay. Maya tried to help, but there was only so much she could do. The damage was done. Sofia had learned the hard way that revenge didn't heal wounds. It just created new ones. She never heard from Marco again. Until 6 months later when she received a text from an unknown number. "Coffee, there's a place on 5th Street, tomorrow at 2, if you're interested. If not, I understand. But I think we should talk, M." Sofia stared at the message for hours, her heart hammering. This could be anything. Closure, yelling, a final condemnation. But it could also be something else, something she didn't dare hope for. She texted back, "I'll be there." The coffee shop was small and quiet, tucked away from the main streets. Sofia arrived 15 minutes early, ordered a latte she couldn't taste, and waited. At exactly 2 o'clock, Marco walked through the door. He looked older, tired, but when his eyes found hers, something softened in his expression. "Thank you for coming," he said, sitting across from her. "Thank you for asking me too." They sat in awkward silence for a moment. Then Marco spoke. "I've spent the last 6 months being angry. At you, at Tyler. At myself for being foolish enough to fall for it. I've replayed every conversation we had, looking for signs I missed, red flags I ignored." He paused. "And you know what I realized? That even knowing what you did, even knowing how it started, I can't bring myself to regret meeting you." Sofia's breath caught. "Marco, let me finish. I'm not saying I forgive you. I don't know if I can forgive you. What you did was wrong, and it hurt me in ways I'm still processing. But I also can't deny that what we had, even built on lies, was the happiest I'd been in years. And that has to mean something." "It meant everything to me," Sofia said quietly. "I know I don't have the right to ask for anything from you, but I need you to know that every moment with you, every laugh, every conversation, that was real. The love was real, even if the beginning was." "I believe you. I didn't want to, but I do." Marco reached across the table, not quite touching her hand, but close. "I don't know what happens now. I don't know if we can fix this or if we even should try. But I needed to see you, needed to know if there's anything worth salvaging." "Is there?" Sofia hardly dared to ask. Marco smiled, sad but genuine. Maybe, if we're both brave enough to try, if we're both honest enough not to make the same mistakes. He finally took her hand. No more lies, Sofia, no more games. If we do this, we do it with complete honesty, or we don't do it at all. No more lies, Sofia promised. I swear. They talked for hours, laying everything bare. The pain, the betrayal, the love that had survived despite everything. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet. It wasn't even reconciliation. But it was a beginning. A chance to build something real from the ashes of what they had destroyed. As the sun set and the coffee shop prepared to close, Marco walked Sofia to her car. This won't be easy, he warned. People will talk, Tyler will lose his mind. There will be consequences. I know, but maybe some things are worth the consequences. Marco kissed her then, soft and careful, like they were starting over. Maybe they are. 3 months later, Sofia posted a photo on her Instagram. Just her and Marco smiling at the camera with a caption that read, "Healing isn't linear, love isn't simple, but both are worth fighting for. To everyone who's made mistakes and is trying to do better, you're not your worst moment, you're what you do next." The comments were mixed, as expected. Some people praised her courage, others condemned her audacity, but Sofia didn't care anymore what strangers thought. She had learned the hard way that living for other people's approval was a prison. That revenge might get clicks, but healing got you your life back. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to this journey. It wasn't pretty and it wasn't easy, but it was real. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories about love, loss, and learning to be better. Drop a comment below telling me your thoughts. Have you ever made a mistake you thought was unforgivable? How did you find your way back? Let's start a conversation. Until next time, remember, we're all just trying to figure this out. Be kind to yourself and others. Peace.